Book 1. Foundations of Virtue and Gratitude. Have you ever thought about how the people in your life shape who you become? In the first book of his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoics, reflects on the virtues he learned from his family and mentors. He invites us to consider, who has influenced us and what have we learned from them? Marcus begins by acknowledging the moral compass he inherited from his grandfather, the integrity observed in his father, and the piety and generosity of his mother. By examining these relationships, he demonstrates how virtues are passed down and encourages us to reflect on our own lineage of wisdom. Have you ever taken a moment to appreciate the lessons imparted by your teachers? Marcus Aurelius speaks highly of his tutors, emphasizing the importance of a solid education guided by good instructors. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes from learning and reflection. Marcus credits his mentors for teaching him discipline, the value of hard work, and the significance of living according to nature. He learned to avoid trivial pursuits and to focus on what truly matters. Isn't it fascinating how the guidance of a wise teacher can shape the course of our lives? What about the influence of friends and peers? Have they shaped your character for better or worse? Marcus reflects on the companionship of those who shared his journey. From them, he learned benevolence, the art of living harmoniously with others, and the importance of sincerity. The Stoics often emphasized the interconnectedness of humanity. Marcus saw his relationships as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, kindness, and humility. He reminds us that our interactions are not just social exchanges, but chances to grow in virtue. Have you considered how challenges and criticisms contribute to your growth? Marcus Aurelius didn't shy away from acknowledging his flaws and the constructive feedback he received. The Stoics taught that obstacles are pathways to improvement. Marcus viewed criticisms as gifts that revealed areas needing attention. By embracing this mindset, he transformed potential conflicts into lessons. How might our lives change if we welcomed challenges as opportunities rather than threats? So how can we apply Marcus Aurelius's reflections to our modern lives? Start by identifying the key influences in your life, family, teachers, friends, and contemplate the virtues they've imparted. Practice gratitude for these lessons and consider writing them down, much like Marcus did. Engage in daily reflection to assess how you're embodying these virtues. When facing challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Embrace the Stoic idea that every experience is a chance to grow in wisdom and character. By doing so, you cultivate an inner strength that navigates life's complexities with grace and resilience. Book 2. Embracing the Day with Stoic Resolve. Begin each morning by saying to thyself, today, I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, arrogance, deceit, envy, and selfishness, all born from the ignorance of good and evil. But I, who have seen the nature of the good, that it is beautiful, and the nature of the bad, that it is ugly, know that the wrongdoer is akin to me, sharing the same reason and spark of the divine. Therefore, none of them can harm me, for they cannot taint my soul nor drag me into ugliness. Neither will I be angry with my brother nor hate him, for we are made to work together, like 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyelids, the upper and lower rows of teeth. To act against one another is contrary to nature. To be vexed or turn away is to oppose our shared purpose. Have you ever considered how much power you grant others over your peace of mind? The Stoics teach that it is not external events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that those who offend do so out of ignorance, not malice. If we understand that they act without true knowledge of good and evil, can we not find compassion instead of anger? Is it not within our power to maintain tranquility by controlling our perceptions and choosing not to be harmed by mere opinions or actions of others? Contemplate the fleeting nature of all things, our bodies, our possessions, our very breath. Marcus urges us to see the flesh as nothing more than a vessel of blood, bones, and a network of nerves and veins. The breath, a mere gust of air, ever changing with each inhale and exhale. The ruling part, the mind, is all that truly defines us. He exhorts us, "Despise not thy ruling part, it is thy essence." Have you reflected on what truly endures? Is it not the character we cultivate, the virtues we embody, that leave a lasting imprint beyond our mortal existence? Reflect on the concept of fate and the interweaving of all events within the tapestry of the universe. The Stoics believe that all happenings are in accordance with nature and governed by divine reason. Marcus writes, "Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time." If we accept that everything unfolds as it must, can we not release our grip on anxiety and embrace each moment as necessary? Does resistance not only breed suffering, while acceptance brings peace? Consider how often we postpone living virtuously, telling ourselves there will be time later. Marcus cautions against this delay. Remember how long you've been putting this off, how many extensions the gods gave you, and you didn't use them. Life is brief and unpredictable. If not now, when shall we commit to self-improvement and align ourselves with the nature of the whole? Are we not squandering the precious moments granted to us by deferring the pursuit of wisdom and virtue? To weave these teachings into the fabric of modern life, begin by practicing mindfulness of your reactions. When someone offends you, pause and remind yourself that they act out of their own struggles and ignorance. Choose to respond with patience rather than anger. Embrace the impermanence of material things by decluttering your space. Let go of possessions that no longer serve you, symbolizing the release of attachment. When faced with circumstances beyond your control, repeat to yourself, "Amor fati," love of fate, and focus on what you can control, your actions and attitudes. Dedicate time each day to self-reflection, perhaps through journaling, to ensure you are living in accordance with your values and not postponing the cultivation of virtue. Book 3. The Urgency of Living Wisely. We ought to consider not only that our life is daily wasting away and a smaller part of it is left, but also that if a man should live longer, it is uncertain whether the understanding will still continue sufficient for the comprehension of things. For if he shall begin to fall into dotage, the faculties of sensation and desire will not fail, but the power of making use of ourselves, of fulfilling our duties, and of clearly discerning appearances, this is already extinguished. We must make haste then, not only because we are daily nearer to death, but also because our ability to understand and act rightly may cease before we depart. Have you ever paused to consider how fleeting our time truly is, and how often we squander the moments given to us? Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoics, reminds us that life is slipping away each day, and with it, the opportunity to comprehend the world around us diminishes. He muses, "We ought to consider not only that our life is daily wasting away, and a smaller part of it is left, but also that if a man should live longer, it is quite uncertain whether the understanding will still continue sufficient for the comprehension of things." Have you reflected on how precious your intellect is, and how essential it is to use it wisely while you can? Think about the natural processes around us, the way bread cracks in the oven, forming unintended patterns that are nonetheless beautiful. The Stoics saw beauty in these imperfections, these incidental outcomes of nature's course. Marcus observes that even the overripe figs splitting open or the lion's wrinkled brow hold a certain allure. Isn't it fascinating how, when we attune ourselves to nature, we find charm in the most unexpected places? Do you see how this perspective can transform the way we perceive the world? Consider the great figures of history. Hippocrates, who healed many yet succumbed to illness himself. Alexander the Great, who conquered nations but could not conquer mortality. The Stoics teach us that death spares no one, regardless of their achievements or status. Marcus reflects on this inevitability, noting that all, from philosophers like Heraclitus to emperors like himself, must one day depart. Does this not put our worries and ambitions into perspective? How might we live differently knowing that our voyage, no matter how grand, will eventually reach its shore? Why do we spend so much time concerning ourselves with the thoughts and actions of others? Marcus advises, "Do not waste the remainder of thy life in thoughts about others, for you lose the opportunity of doing something else when you have such thoughts." The Stoics encourage us to focus inward, to cultivate our own minds rather than be distracted by external noise. Have you caught yourself lost in speculation about others, only to realize you've neglected your own growth? What if we redirected that energy towards our own development? In embracing these teachings, how can we apply them to our modern lives? Begin by practicing mindfulness of your time and intellect. Acknowledge that your capacity to learn and understand is a gift that won't last forever. Prioritize activities that enrich your mind and spirit. When you encounter the imperfect, a cracked vase, a wilted flower, pause to appreciate its unique beauty as a product of nature's design. Reflect on the impermanence of life to gain clarity on what truly matters. Instead of fixating on others, set personal goals that align with your values and dedicate your efforts toward achieving them. By doing so, you honor the Stoic wisdom of focusing on what is within your control. Have you noticed how even the unintended aspects of nature contribute to the whole, creating a tapestry of unexpected beauty? The Stoics believed that everything, even what seems flawed or out of place, has its role in the grand design. Marcus notes that the foam from a wild boar's mouth or the drooping ears of wheat ready for harvest possess their own charm. Can you see how adopting this view might change your relationship with the world? Might you find joy in the mundane or overlooked details of daily life? Think about the time and energy we invest in worrying about others' opinions or actions. Marcus urges us to refrain from such distractions, for they pull us away from our own path. We ought then to check in the series of our thoughts everything that is without a purpose and useless. He writes, "The Stoics teach that our primary concern should be our own virtue and rational action. How often do you let unproductive thoughts occupy your mind? What would happen if you focused instead on what you can control? Imagine standing firm like a seasoned tree, rooted in purpose and unmoved by external forces. The Stoics encourage us to labor willingly, with regard for the common good, but without seeking validation from others. Marcus advises us to be cheerful also, and seek not external help nor the tranquility which others give. A man then must stand erect, not be kept erect by others." In our modern context, this means finding inner strength and motivation. Do you rely on external approval for your happiness? How might your life change if you cultivated self-reliance? To integrate these principles today, start by cultivating awareness of your thought patterns. When you catch yourself judging or fixating on others, gently bring your focus back to your own actions and choices. Practice finding beauty in unexpected places: a rainy day, the wrinkles in an elderly person's smile, the rust on a vintage bicycle. Let these observations enrich your appreciation for life's complexity. Work on setting internal standards for success rather than relying on external accolades. Build routines that strengthen your character and contribute positively to those around you. In doing so, you embody the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and reason. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, we embark on a journey toward inner peace, resilience, and fulfillment. The Stoic principles he espoused offer timeless guidance for navigating the complexities of modern life. By controlling our perceptions, accepting the impermanence of all things, focusing on what is within our power, and living in harmony with others and nature, we align ourselves with the rational order of the universe. Shall we not then commit to embodying these virtues daily, transforming not only ourselves but also the world around us? Book 4. Igniting the Inner Fire, Mastering the World Within. Have you ever considered that the greatest strength lies not in controlling the world around you, but in mastering the world within you? In the 4th book of his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius explores the profound resilience of the human spirit when it aligns with nature. The Stoics teach that our inner reason, when acting according to its true nature, adapts effortlessly to whatever events occur, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. Marcus likens this adaptability to a fire that consumes everything thrown into it, not just enduring, but thriving on adversity, rising higher through the very materials that could have extinguished a lesser flame. Have you thought about how your mind can act like this fire, using challenges as fuel rather than allowing them to smother your spirit? By embracing this perspective, we recognize that difficulties are not impediments but catalysts that propel us forward. Isn't it liberating to realize that you have the power to reinterpret hardships, turning them into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks? Do you ever find yourself longing for an escape from the pressures and noise of daily life, perhaps dreaming of a serene beach, a quiet mountain hideaway, or a peaceful countryside retreat? Marcus points out that while many seek tranquility in external places, the most profound peace can be found by retreating into one's own soul. The Stoics believe that true tranquility is achieved through the proper ordering of the mind, not by changing our external circumstances. Marcus suggests that by looking inward and reflecting on core principles, such as the fleeting nature of fame, the insignificance of material pursuits, and the inevitability of change, we can renew ourselves and find serenity, no matter where we are. Have you ever tried to create this inner sanctuary, a mental space where you can return to balance amidst chaos? By cultivating this practice, we gain the ability to remain centered and composed, even when the world around us is in turmoil. How might your experience of life transform if you could access this inner peace at will? Have you ever reflected on the notion that all rational beings are interconnected, part of a single universal community? Marcus muses that if our intellectual faculties are shared, then so is the reason that guides us, implying that we are fellow citizens of a greater cosmic city. The Stoics emphasize that we are all parts of a larger whole, bound together by common reason and natural law. This understanding calls us to act justly and compassionately toward others, recognizing that harming another is akin to harming oneself. Does this perspective shift how you view your relationships and responsibilities toward others? By embracing our shared humanity, we are inspired to contribute positively to society, fostering harmony and mutual support. Isn't it inspiring to think that each of our actions can ripple outward, affecting the entire fabric of the universe? Do you find yourself anxious about the prospect of death? Or have you considered it as a natural transition, much like the setting of the sun or the changing of seasons? Marcus portrays death not as an end, but as a natural process, a recomposition of elements returning to the source. The Stoics teach that life and death are intrinsic aspects of the natural order, neither to be feared nor mourned excessively. How might accepting death as a natural phenomenon influence your approach to living? By relinquishing the fear of death, we free ourselves to live more fully and authentically, focusing on the present moment and the cultivation of virtue. Could this acceptance lead you to prioritize what truly matters, deepening your appreciation for life? So, how can we weave these Stoic teachings into the tapestry of our modern existence? Begin by training your mind to reinterpret challenges as opportunities for growth. When you encounter obstacles, pause and ask yourself how this situation can strengthen you, just as a fire grows brighter with more fuel. Develop a regular practice of mindfulness or meditation to create your inner retreat, a mental haven where you can find peace regardless of external circumstances. Embrace the concept of global citizenship by recognizing our shared rationality and interconnectedness, leading you to act with kindness, fairness, and cooperation. Reflect on the natural cycles of life, including the inevitability of death, to diminish fear and enhance your appreciation for the present. By integrating these practices, you align yourself with the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, empowering yourself to navigate life's complexities with grace, resilience, and a profound sense of purpose. Book 5. Awakening to Purpose, Embracing the Dawn with the Stoics. Have you ever woken up and questioned why you should leave the comfort of your bed to face the challenges of the day? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, pondered this very dilemma. He wrote, "In the morning when thou risest unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." Have you considered that each day offers you the opportunity to fulfill your purpose as a rational and social creature? The Stoics teach us that we are not made merely for comfort or pleasure, but for action, for contributing to the world around us. Isn't it intriguing to think that even the smallest creatures, ants, bees, spiders, diligently perform their roles in nature without complaint? If they embrace their purpose with such vigor, can we not do the same with ours? Reflect on the idea that we often allow ourselves to be swayed by fleeting pleasures, choosing momentary comfort over meaningful action. Marcus challenges us by asking, "Dost thou exist then to take thy pleasure, and not at all for action or exertion?" The Stoics believe that true contentment arises from fulfilling our natural roles, not from indulging in excess rest or luxury. Have you noticed how pursuing short-term gratification can leave you feeling empty, while engaging in purposeful activity brings lasting satisfaction? By aligning our actions with our nature, as beings capable of reason and cooperation, we find a deeper sense of fulfillment. How might your life change if you viewed each morning as a chance to contribute to something greater than yourself? Consider the craftsman who toils tirelessly at his art, finding joy and purpose in the act of creation. The Stoics admired such dedication, seeing it as a reflection of love for one's own nature. Marcus observes that those who love their craft exhaust themselves in working at them unwashed and without food. Do you have a passion that drives you to overcome obstacles and push beyond your limits? The Stoics encourage us to channel that same fervor into living virtuously and fulfilling our societal roles. By doing so, we honor our true selves and contribute meaningfully to the community. Isn't it empowering to realize that by embracing our purpose, we not only elevate ourselves but also inspire those around us? Have you ever thought about how easily we can attain tranquility by mastering our perceptions? The Stoics teach that external events are neutral. It is our judgments that disturb our peace. Marcus advises how easy it is to repel and to wipe away every impression which is troublesome or unsuitable, and immediately to be in all tranquility. Imagine possessing the ability to remain calm amidst chaos simply by reframing your thoughts. Have you tried questioning your initial reactions to challenging situations, asking whether your response is rational or driven by emotion? By cultivating this practice, we gain control over our inner state, freeing ourselves from unnecessary turmoil. How would your experience of stress or conflict change if you could adopt this Stoic mindset? So how can we apply these timeless teachings of the Stoics to our modern lives? Begin by setting a purposeful intention each morning. When you wake, remind yourself of your role as a human being, to act, to contribute, to engage with the world. Instead of hitting the snooze button, take a moment to consider what meaningful actions you can take today. Embrace tasks that align with your values and contribute to the greater good, whether at work, in your relationships, or within your community. When faced with discomfort or the temptation to avoid effort, recall the diligence of the bee or the dedication of the craftsman. Use these metaphors to inspire perseverance. Practice reframing negative impressions by challenging your initial judgments and seeking a rational perspective. By integrating these habits, you cultivate resilience and purpose, embodying the Stoic ideal of a life well lived. Have you noticed how we often seek validation or admiration from others, only to find ourselves disappointed or unfulfilled? The Stoics remind us that true virtue lies in actions done for their own sake, not for recognition. Marcus points out, "Show those qualities then which are altogether in thy power: sincerity, gravity, endurance of labor, aversion to pleasure, contentment with thy portion." Are you living in a way that reflects these virtues independent of others' opinions? The Stoics encourage us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, choices, and actions, rather than external validation. By doing so, we free ourselves from the fickleness of praise and criticism. How might your self-esteem and confidence grow if they were rooted in your own consistent practice of virtue? Think about the times you performed a kind act without expecting anything in return. The Stoics compare this selfless behavior to a vine producing grapes. It fulfills its purpose naturally and without fanfare. Marcus writes, "A man, when he has done a good act, does not call out for others to come and see, but he goes on to another act." Have you experienced the quiet satisfaction that comes from doing good simply because it is right? By embracing this approach, we align with our rational nature and contribute positively to society. Isn't it liberating to act without the burden of seeking approval, allowing your deeds to be their own reward? Have you ever prayed or wished for specific outcomes, only to be disappointed when things didn't go as planned. The Stoics advocate for accepting the course of nature, trusting that events unfold as they should. Marcus reflects on a simple prayer: "Rain, rain, O dear Zeus, down on the plowed fields of the Athenians and on the plains." This humble request acknowledges the limits of our control and the wisdom of the universe. Can you see the peace that comes from relinquishing the need to dictate every outcome? By embracing acceptance, we reduce frustration and open ourselves to opportunities within the circumstances we face. How would your stress levels change if you practiced this form of Stoic acceptance? To bring these principles into your daily life, focus on performing virtuous actions without seeking recognition. Engage in acts of kindness, honesty, and diligence because they are aligned with your values, not because they will earn you praise. When you feel the urge to seek external validation, pause and remind yourself that true worth comes from within. Practice gratitude for the ability to make positive choices. When facing uncertainty or uncontrollable events, adopt a mindset of acceptance. Instead of resisting or resenting what you cannot change, look for ways to adapt and find meaning. Trust that each experience offers a lesson or opportunity for growth. By internalizing these Stoic practices, you cultivate inner strength and a sense of contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. Have you pondered the concept that events in our lives are neither inherently good nor bad, but are perceived as such through our judgments? The Stoics teach that we have the power to assign value to our experiences. Marcus advises, "Take away thy opinion, and then there is taken away the complaint. The harm is taken away." Have you considered that by changing your perspective you can alleviate your own suffering? This doesn't mean ignoring reality, but approaching it with a rational and balanced mindset. How often do we amplify our distress by interpreting events in the worst possible light? By adjusting our perceptions, we can maintain equanimity even in challenging times. Isn't it empowering to realize that your peace of mind is within your control? Reflect on the idea that obstacles can actually serve our progress rather than hinder it. The Stoics believe that the mind can turn hindrances into aids through the right attitude. Marcus notes, "The mind converts and changes every hindrance to its activity into an aid." Can you recall a time when a setback led to unexpected growth or opportunity? By viewing challenges as catalysts for improvement, we transform our experience of adversity. This shift in perspective fosters resilience and adaptability. How might adopting this outlook change the way you approach difficulties in your life? Consider the importance of living in harmony with the universe and recognizing our place within it. The Stoics emphasized reverence for the natural order and our role as rational beings. Marcus urges us to reverence that which is best in the universe, and in like manner also reverence that which is best in thyself. Do you take time to acknowledge the interconnectedness of all things and the rational capacity within you? By cultivating this awareness, we align our actions with the greater good and our true nature. How does recognizing this connection influence your decisions and interactions with others? To integrate these Stoic insights into your modern life, practice challenging your initial judgments about events. When you encounter a situation that elicits a strong emotional response, pause and examine your interpretation. Ask yourself if there is another way to view it that is more rational and less distressing. When facing obstacles, consciously look for the potential benefits or lessons they may offer. Embrace the idea that difficulties can strengthen you and lead to personal growth. Cultivate a sense of connection with the world around you by spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in activities that promote a sense of unity. Acknowledge the rational and virtuous aspects of yourself and strive to express them in your actions. By adopting these practices, you enhance your ability to navigate life's complexities with grace and wisdom. Have you ever questioned the true value of fame, wealth, or external success? The Stoics remind us that such pursuits are transient and often beyond our control. Marcus reflects, "Consider how worthless and contemptible and perishable and dead they are." Have you noticed how chasing these external validations can lead to dissatisfaction and anxiety? The Stoics encourage us to focus on cultivating inner virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, which are enduring and within our power to develop. By shifting our priorities inward, we find a more stable and lasting sense of fulfillment. How might your life change if you placed greater emphasis on personal growth rather than external achievements? Think about the inevitability of change and the impermanence of all things. Marcus muses, "Often think of the rapidity with which things pass by and disappear, and there is hardly anything which stands still." Does recognizing the fleeting nature of life inspire you to cherish the present moment more deeply? The Stoics teach that by accepting impermanence, we can release attachments that cause us suffering. Embracing change allows us to adapt more easily and appreciate the time we have. How would your perspective shift if you regularly contemplated the transient nature of your experiences? Have you considered that living according to reason and virtue leads to true contentment? The Stoics believe that aligning our actions with our rational nature brings harmony both within ourselves and with the universe. Marcus advises, "Let thy soul be entirely directed to the good, and let thy life be as one long prayer." By dedicating ourselves to virtuous living, we find purpose and peace that external circumstances cannot shake. Do you feel a sense of alignment when your actions reflect your deepest values? How does this affect your overall well-being? To apply these teachings today, reassess your goals and what you consider important. Reflect on whether your pursuits contribute to lasting fulfillment or are driven by a desire for external validation. Focus on setting goals that involve personal development and the cultivation of virtue. Practice gratitude for the present moment, recognizing that it is all we truly have. Engage in mindfulness exercises to enhance your awareness of the now. When faced with change or loss, remind yourself that impermanence is a natural part of life, and seek to find growth opportunities within transitions. Commit to actions that reflect your rational and virtuous nature, such as acts of kindness, fairness, and integrity. By embodying these Stoic principles, you build a foundation of inner peace and resilience that supports you through all of life's ups and downs. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we discover a path to a more purposeful and tranquil life. By rising each day with a sense of duty and aligning our actions with our rational nature, we fulfill our potential as human beings. Recognizing that our perceptions shape our experiences empowers us to maintain inner peace amidst external chaos. By valuing virtue over external success, accepting the inevitability of change, and living in harmony with the universe, we cultivate a deep and enduring contentment. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, transforming not only ourselves but also the world we inhabit? Book 6, Embracing the Flow of Nature, Living in Harmony with the Universe. Have you ever wondered how aligning yourself with the natural order of the universe could transform your life? The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, believed that the universe is governed by a rational and benevolent force, and that by understanding and embracing this reason, we can find peace and fulfillment. In his Meditations, Marcus writes, "The substance of the universe is obedient and compliant, and the reason which governs it has in itself no cause for doing evil." Have you considered that the challenges you face are not obstacles placed by a malevolent force, but opportunities crafted by a rational universe to help you grow? By recognizing that all things are made and perfected according to universal reason, we can relinquish resentment and embrace each experience as a stepping stone on our journey. Isn't it empowering to think that the very fabric of existence is designed to support your development? Do you find yourself affected by external conditions, weather, opinions of others, or unforeseen events? The Stoics teach us that our duty remains constant regardless of our circumstances. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Let it make no difference to thee whether thou art cold or warm, if thou art doing thy duty." Have you noticed how focusing on your purpose can diminish the impact of external discomforts? By centering our attention on fulfilling our responsibilities, we rise above transient conditions. Imagine carrying out your tasks with the same dedication, whether praised or criticized, whether energized or tired. How might this steadfastness change your approach to daily life? The Stoics believed that by anchoring ourselves in duty and virtue, we become less susceptible to the ebb and flow of external factors, finding consistency and tranquility within. Have you ever paused to truly look within and assess the value and quality of your thoughts and actions? Marcus urges us to look within. Let neither the peculiar quality of anything nor its value escape thee. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-examination and mindfulness. Are you aware of the motivations driving your choices? By cultivating introspection, we gain clarity about what truly matters, separating superficial desires from genuine needs. Have you considered how much of what you pursue is influenced by societal expectations rather than your own reasoned judgment? By turning inward, we align ourselves with our rational nature, making choices that reflect our true values. Isn't it liberating to navigate life guided by your own inner compass rather than external pressures? Think about the fleeting nature of all things, the constant change that defines the universe. Marcus reflects, all existing things soon change, and they will either be reduced to vapor or they will be dispersed. Have you contemplated how embracing impermanence might affect your attachment to material possessions or status? The Stoics teach that by accepting change as an inherent part of life, we can reduce anxiety and find peace. Do you find yourself clinging to things that are beyond your control? By recognizing that all forms are temporary, we can focus on cultivating inner virtues that endure beyond physical changes. How might this perspective shift your priorities and bring you closer to lasting contentment? So, how can we integrate these Stoic principles into our modern lives? Begin by practicing acceptance of the natural order. When faced with challenges, remind yourself that they are part of a rational universe designed to foster your growth. Instead of resisting or resenting difficulties, ask yourself what lesson or opportunity they present. Cultivate resilience by focusing on your duties and responsibilities, regardless of external conditions. Develop a routine of self-reflection. Set aside time each day to examine your thoughts and actions, ensuring they align with your true values. Embrace impermanence by letting go of attachments to material things or outcomes, and by appreciating the present moment for what it offers. By implementing these practices, you align yourself with the wisdom of the Stoics, finding harmony with the universe, and unlocking a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Have you considered that the best way to respond to wrongdoing is not retaliation, but by refusing to become like the wrongdoer? Marcus advises, the best way of avenging thyself is not to become like the wrongdoer. The Stoics believed in maintaining personal virtue regardless of others' actions. When someone harms you, do you react impulsively, or do you pause to choose a response aligned with your principles? By holding true to our values, we prevent others from dictating our behavior. Isn't it powerful to realize that you have control over your reactions, and that by choosing integrity, you rise above negativity? This approach not only preserves your character, but can also inspire positive change in others. Have you noticed how responding with patience and understanding can diffuse conflict and promote mutual respect? Reflect on the idea that life's value lies not in external accolades but in the continuous practice of virtue. Marcus finds pleasure in passing from one social act to another social act, thinking of God. The Stoics teach that fulfillment comes from contributing to the common good and living in accordance with universal reason. Do you derive satisfaction from acts of kindness and service? By focusing on the well-being of others and the larger community, we find a deeper sense of purpose. Have you experienced the joy that comes from helping someone without expecting anything in return? By making social harmony a priority, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of living in harmony with nature and reason. How might this shift in focus enhance your relationships and overall happiness? Have you ever felt overwhelmed by life's complexities and longed for a return to simplicity? Marcus uses the analogy of having both a stepmother and a mother, suggesting we should return to philosophy as our true mother. He writes, "Let the court and philosophy now be to thee stepmother and mother. Return to philosophy frequently, and repose in her." The Stoics encourage us to find solace in philosophical reflection, grounding ourselves amidst chaos. Do you have practices or beliefs that help you center yourself when life's demands become overwhelming? By regularly returning to foundational principles, we reinforce our inner stability. Isn't it comforting to know that you can find peace within, regardless of external circumstances? How might cultivating a philosophical practice provide you with resilience and clarity? To apply these teachings today, strive to respond to negativity with virtue. When wronged, pause before reacting, and choose a response that reflects your principles rather than mirroring harmful behavior. Focus on engaging in acts that contribute positively to society. Volunteer, support a friend, or simply offer kindness to strangers. Make a habit of returning to your core values through meditation, journaling, or studying philosophical works. Create a personal ritual that allows you to reconnect with what truly matters, especially during stressful times. By integrating these practices, you reinforce your commitment to living a virtuous life, embodying the Stoic wisdom that true strength comes from within. Have you thought about how perceptions can be distorted by appearances and societal values? Marcus advises us to look beyond superficial allure by stripping things of their embellished descriptions. He suggests seeing things as they truly are. A lavish meal is merely the dead body of a fish. Fine wine is a little grape juice. The Stoics teach that by demystifying external attractions, we can avoid being misled by false values. Do you find yourself chasing after possessions or status symbols that lose their appeal once attained? By recognizing the true nature of things, we prevent ourselves from being swayed by empty desires. Isn't it enlightening to realize that much of what society deems valuable is, in essence, trivial? How might this clarity free you from unnecessary pursuits and allow you to focus on what genuinely enriches your life? Consider the transient nature of life and how quickly everything changes. Marcus observes, "Some things are hurrying into existence, and others are hurrying out of it." The Stoics remind us that clinging to fleeting moments or possessions leads to dissatisfaction. Have you noticed how holding on to the past or fearing the future detracts from experiencing the present? By accepting the constant flow of change, we can appreciate each moment without attachment. Do you practice mindfulness, fully engaging with the here and now? Embracing impermanence allows us to find joy in life's journey, rather than fixating on destinations. How might this acceptance of change reduce anxiety and enhance your appreciation for daily experiences? To incorporate these insights into your life, practice seeing things as they truly are. When tempted by material desires or social status, pause to consider their real value and whether they contribute to your well-being. Simplify your life by focusing on experiences and relationships that hold genuine meaning. Embrace change by cultivating mindfulness. Engage in activities that anchor you in the present moment, such as meditation, nature walks, or creative pursuits. Reflect on the impermanence of life to foster gratitude for what you have now. By adopting these practices, you align with Stoic principles, freeing yourself from superficial distractions and finding deeper fulfillment. Have you ever contemplated the idea that we are all interconnected, working together within the grand design of the universe? Marcus states, "We are all working together to one end, some with knowledge and design, and others without knowing what they do." The Stoics believe that every individual plays a role in the cosmos, whether consciously or unconsciously. Do you recognize how your actions impact others and contribute to the larger whole? By acknowledging this interconnectedness, we foster a sense of unity and purpose. Have you considered how collaborating with others and embracing your role can enhance your sense of belonging? Isn't it inspiring to think that even small acts can have significant effects within the tapestry of existence? Reflect on the notion that understanding and accepting our place in the universe brings contentment. Marcus emphasizes living in harmony with nature and reason, suggesting that discord arises when we resist this alignment. Do you feel at peace when your actions align with your values and the greater good? The Stoics teach that by fulfilling our roles dutifully and ethically, we contribute to universal harmony. How might embracing your responsibilities and acting with integrity improve your well-being and relationships? By accepting what is within our control and releasing what is not, we find balance. Does this acceptance alleviate the stress of trying to control the uncontrollable? To bring these Stoic teachings into your daily life, cultivate awareness of your interconnectedness with others, engage in community activities, or collaborate on projects that serve a common goal. Practice empathy by considering how your actions affect those around you. Embrace your responsibilities with a positive attitude, seeing them as contributions to the greater good. When faced with situations beyond your control, remind yourself of the Stoic principle of acceptance. Focus on what you can influence and let go of the rest. By integrating these practices, you strengthen your connection to others and the universe, fostering a sense of purpose and harmony. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we discover that living in harmony with the universe involves accepting the natural order, focusing on inner virtue, and recognizing our interconnectedness with all things. By looking within and aligning our actions with reason and nature, we cultivate resilience, peace, and fulfillment. The Stoics teach us that true strength comes from within, that external circumstances need not dictate our inner state. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless principles into our lives, transforming not only ourselves but also contributing to the harmony of the world around us? Book 7. The Harmony of Fate, Dancing with the Universe. Have you ever felt like life's events are out of your control, leaving you wondering how to find peace amid the chaos? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, grappled with this very question. He once wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together." Have you considered that embracing fate might be the key to inner tranquility? The Stoics teach us that while we can't control external events, we can control our responses to them. Isn't it empowering to think that by aligning ourselves with the flow of the universe, we can find harmony even in the midst of turmoil? Do you sometimes resist change, holding on to the familiar even when it's no longer serving you? The Stoics believed that change is the very essence of life. Marcus Aurelius observed, "Is any man afraid of change? What can take place without change?" Have you noticed how resisting change often leads to more discomfort than accepting it? By welcoming change as a natural part of existence, we open ourselves to growth and new possibilities. Imagine viewing each transition not as a loss but as a step forward on your journey. How might this shift in perspective alleviate your fears and help you embrace life's ebb and flow? Have you ever thought about how interconnected we all are, like threads in a vast tapestry? The Stoics emphasize that everything in the universe is linked. Marcus wrote, "All things are implicated with one another, and the bond is holy." Do you see how your actions ripple out to affect others and the world around you? By recognizing this interconnectedness, we can foster a sense of unity and compassion. Have you considered how acting with kindness and understanding not only benefits others but also enriches your own life? Isn't it inspiring to realize that by nurturing these connections, we're contributing to a greater harmony? So, how can we weave these Stoic principles into our modern lives? Start by practicing acceptance of events as they unfold. When faced with unexpected changes or challenges, remind yourself that these are natural parts of life's rhythm. Instead of resisting, ask yourself what you can learn from the situation. Cultivate flexibility by stepping outside your comfort zone regularly. Try a new hobby, meet new people, or explore unfamiliar places. Embrace the idea that every person you encounter is connected to you in some way. Practice empathy by actively listening to others and considering their perspectives. By aligning yourself with the flow of the universe, you may find that life becomes less of a struggle and more of a dance. Have you ever felt weighed down by negative emotions like anger or jealousy? The Stoics taught that these feelings arise from within and can be overcome through reason. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The best way of avenging yourself is not to become like the wrongdoer." Do you find yourself mirroring the negativity of others only to feel worse afterward? By maintaining your own virtue in the face of negativity, you preserve your peace of mind. Have you tried responding to unkindness with patience or even kindness? This not only diffuses tension, but also reinforces your own character. Isn't it remarkable how choosing your response can transform an entire interaction? Consider the idea that our perceptions shape our reality. The Stoics believed that events themselves are neutral. It's our judgments that color them. Marcus wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them." Have you noticed how two people can experience the same situation, yet feel completely different about it? By examining and adjusting our perceptions, we can change our emotional responses. Have you practiced reframing a challenging situation to find a silver lining or lesson? How might this skill help you navigate difficulties with greater ease? To incorporate these teachings into your life, begin by monitoring your emotional reactions. When negative feelings arise, pause and reflect on the thoughts behind them. Ask yourself if your judgment is based on facts or assumptions. Practice shifting your perspective to see situations in a more neutral or positive light. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of reacting with anger, consider that they might be rushing to an emergency. Engage in mindfulness or meditation to strengthen your ability to observe your thoughts without becoming entangled in them. By mastering your perceptions, you gain greater control over your emotional well-being. Have you ever questioned what truly brings lasting fulfillment? The Stoics held that virtue is the highest good and the source of true happiness. Marcus Aurelius encouraged, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Do you find yourself chasing external achievements, only to feel empty once you attain them? By focusing on developing inner virtues like wisdom, courage, and integrity, we build a foundation for enduring contentment. Have you thought about how living in alignment with your values impacts your sense of self-worth? Isn't it fulfilling to know that you're contributing positively to the world through your actions? Reflect on the transient nature of fame and material success. Marcus observed, "How many who once were celebrated by fame are now consigned to oblivion?" Do you consider how quickly worldly accolades can fade? By prioritizing personal growth over external recognition, we invest in something that can't be taken away. Have you tried setting goals that revolve around self-improvement rather than external rewards? How might this shift in focus enhance your overall satisfaction with life? To apply this wisdom, start by identifying your core values. Write them down and reflect on how your daily actions align with them. Set intentions each morning to embody these virtues throughout the day. When faced with decisions, consider which option best reflects your principles. Celebrate your efforts to live virtuously, regardless of whether others notice or acknowledge them. Engage in activities that promote personal growth, such as reading, learning new skills, or volunteering. By nurturing your inner self, you cultivate a deep sense of fulfillment that external achievements alone can't provide. Have you ever struggled to let go of past grievances or mistakes? The Stoics taught the importance of focusing on the present moment. Marcus advised, "Think of your many years of procrastination, how the gods have granted you further time. Do you dwell on what could have been instead of embracing what is? By releasing the past, we free ourselves to fully engage with the present." Have you considered that holding on to regret only hinders your ability to move forward? Imagine how liberating it would feel to let go of past burdens and seize the opportunities before you. Consider the value of gratitude in cultivating a positive mindset. The Stoics encouraged appreciation for what we have. Marcus wrote, "Do not think of what you do not have. Think of what you can do with what there is." Have you noticed how focusing on lack creates feelings of dissatisfaction? By shifting our attention to the abundance in our lives, we foster contentment and joy. Have you practiced daily gratitude, acknowledging even the small blessings? How might this practice enhance your overall happiness? To bring these principles into your life, make a conscious effort to stay present. When you catch yourself ruminating on the past, gently redirect your thoughts to the current moment. Practice mindfulness techniques, such as deep breathing or sensory awareness, to ground yourself. Keep a gratitude journal where you write down things you're thankful for each day. This can help rewire your brain to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of your life. By embracing the present and cultivating gratitude, you open yourself to greater joy and fulfillment. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we find guidance on how to live harmoniously with the universe. By accepting fate, welcoming change, and recognizing our interconnectedness, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life. Mastering our perceptions, focusing on inner virtue, and embracing the present moment empower us to navigate life's challenges with grace. Shall we not, then, commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, fostering inner peace and contributing to the greater harmony of the world around us? Book 8, The Eternal Present, Embracing the Now with Stoic Wisdom. Have you ever caught yourself dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future, only to realize that you're missing out on the present moment? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, pondered deeply on this human tendency. He once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. Have you considered how anchoring yourself in the now could transform your life?" The Stoics teach that the past is unchangeable and the future is uncertain, but the present is where we hold true power. Isn't it intriguing to think that by fully embracing each moment, we can find peace and purpose amid life's chaos? Do you often feel overwhelmed by the barrage of information and distractions in today's world? The Stoics believed that simplicity and focus are keys to a fulfilled life. Marcus Aurelius observed, "If you seek tranquility, do less." Have you noticed how multitasking often leads to stress rather than productivity? By concentrating on what truly matters and letting go of superfluous activities, we can reclaim our time and energy. Imagine how liberating it would be to prioritize tasks that align with your values and let the rest fall away. How might this Stoic approach help you navigate the complexities of modern life with greater ease? Have you ever reflected on how your thoughts shape your reality? The Stoics emphasized the power of perception, teaching that events themselves are neutral. It is our interpretation that gives them meaning. Marcus wrote, "Life is opinion." Do you realize how much control you have over your emotional responses by choosing how to perceive situations? By reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, we can transform obstacles into stepping stones. Have you tried shifting your perspective during a difficult time and noticed a positive change in your attitude? Isn't it empowering to know that you can cultivate inner tranquility regardless of external circumstances? So, how can we apply these Stoic principles to our daily lives? Begin by practicing mindfulness to anchor yourself in the present moment. When you find your thoughts drifting to past regrets or future worries, gently bring your attention back to the here and now. Engage in activities that promote presence, such as meditation, deep breathing, or simply observing your surroundings without judgment. Simplify your schedule by identifying your core priorities and eliminating tasks that do not serve your goals or well-being. Practice cognitive reframing by challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with more constructive interpretations. By adopting these practices, you align yourself with Stoic wisdom, fostering peace and purpose in each moment. Have you pondered the nature of fame and external validation? The Stoics taught that seeking approval from others is fleeting and ultimately unfulfilling. Marcus Aurelius mused, "Consider that men will do the same things nevertheless, even though you burst." Do you sometimes find yourself striving for recognition, only to realize it doesn't bring lasting satisfaction? By focusing instead on living virtuously and fulfilling your own standards, you can find contentment independent of others' opinions. Have you experienced the freedom that comes from valuing your own judgment over external accolades? Isn't it refreshing to measure success by personal growth rather than by society's shifting standards? Think about the impermanence of life and how it puts our pursuits into perspective. Marcus reflected, "Short-lived are both the praiser and the praised, and the rememberer and the remembered." Do you recognize that many of the things we chase are temporary and may not matter in the grand scheme of things? By acknowledging this, we can redirect our efforts toward what is truly meaningful. Have you considered how investing in relationships, personal development, and contributing to the greater good provides deeper fulfillment? How might embracing this Stoic insight alter your priorities and enrich your life? To integrate this wisdom into your life, Practice self-reflection to understand your motivations. Ask yourself whether your goals align with your values or are driven by a desire for external approval. Set intentions based on personal growth and virtue rather than on recognition or material gain. When you catch yourself seeking validation, remind yourself of the Stoic principle that true contentment comes from within. Cultivate gratitude for the intangible aspects of life that hold lasting significance. By shifting your focus inward and valuing your own assessment, you build a foundation for enduring fulfillment. Have you ever felt frustrated by others' actions or opinions? The Stoics believed that we cannot control others, only our responses to them. Marcus advised, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Do you find yourself expending energy trying to change people or getting upset when they don't meet your expectations? By accepting that others act according to their own nature and experiences, we can release unnecessary tension. Have you tried approaching interactions with empathy and understanding, noticing how it improves relationships? Isn't it soothing to let go of judgment and embrace compassion instead? Consider how much more peaceful life could be if we focused on self-improvement rather than on critiquing others. The Stoics taught that by refining our own character, we set a positive example that may inspire change in others. Have you observed how your behavior influences those around you? By embodying the virtues of patience, kindness, and integrity, we contribute to a more harmonious environment. How might this shift from external to internal focus enhance your interactions and overall well-being? To apply this Stoic teaching, practice mindfulness in your reactions to others. When someone behaves in a way that irritates you, pause and reflect on why it bothers you. Consider whether the issue lies within your own expectations or judgments. Cultivate empathy by reminding yourself that everyone is fighting their own battles. Focus on your own actions and how you can respond virtuously. Engage in active listening to understand others' perspectives without immediately reacting. By being tolerant with others and working on yourself, you foster more meaningful connections and inner tranquility. Have you contemplated the Stoic concept of accepting fate while exercising personal agency? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." Do you struggle with situations beyond your control, feeling helpless or resistant? The Stoics teach that while we cannot dictate external events, we have the power to choose our attitude and actions. Have you found that embracing what you cannot change brings a sense of peace? Isn't it liberating to focus on what you can control and let go of the rest? Reflect on how resisting reality often leads to suffering, whereas acceptance opens the door to serenity. By aligning our will with the natural course of events, we reduce internal conflict. Have you practiced adapting to unforeseen circumstances, noticing how flexibility enhances your resilience? How might adopting this Stoic approach help you navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease? To incorporate this principle into your life, distinguish between what you can and cannot control. When faced with a challenge, identify the aspects within your influence and take proactive steps accordingly. Practice acceptance by acknowledging and releasing concerns over the uncontrollable. Cultivate adaptability by viewing changes as opportunities rather than setbacks. Engage in self-care activities that strengthen your ability to cope with stress, such as exercise, meditation, or spending time in nature. By embracing your fate while exercising your agency, you align with Stoic wisdom and enhance your capacity for contentment. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we discover that true peace and fulfillment come from within. By living in the present, simplifying our lives, and mastering our perceptions, we harness the power to shape our reality. Focusing on personal virtue over external validation, practicing tolerance and accepting what we cannot control, allows us to navigate life's complexities with grace. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, fostering inner tranquility and contributing positively to the world around us? Book 9, The Inner Fortress, Building Resilience Through Stoic Wisdom. Have you ever wondered how to remain unshaken amidst life's storms, finding peace even when chaos surrounds you? The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, delved deep into this question. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Do you realize how much control you truly have over your inner world? The Stoics teach us that while we can't dictate external circumstances, we can govern our reactions to them. Isn't it empowering to think that by cultivating our inner fortress, we can withstand any adversity life throws our way? Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed by the negativity or injustice in the world? Marcus Aurelius observed, "He who does wrong against himself." Have you considered that those who act unjustly are harming themselves more than anyone else? The Stoics encourage us to view wrongdoing with compassion rather than anger. By understanding that others may act out of ignorance or pain, we can respond with patience and empathy. Have you tried shifting your perspective when someone wrongs you, seeing it as an opportunity to practice forgiveness? Isn't it liberating to release resentment and maintain your own peace of mind? Have you ever felt disconnected from others, as if you're navigating life's challenges alone? The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of all rational beings. Marcus wrote, "Among reasonable animals, one intelligent soul is distributed." Do you see how we're all threads in the same fabric of humanity? By recognizing this unity, we can foster deeper connections and a sense of belonging. Have you considered how your actions impact the collective well-being? By acting justly and compassionately, we contribute to a more harmonious world. Isn't it inspiring to think that even small acts of kindness can ripple outward, touching lives beyond our own? So, how can we cultivate this Stoic wisdom in our modern lives? Begin by strengthening your inner fortress through mindfulness and self-reflection. When faced with adversity, pause and remind yourself that you have control over your responses. Practice reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what you can learn from the situation. When encountering injustice, strive to respond with understanding rather than retaliation. Engage in activities that promote connection, such as community service or joining groups with shared interests. By nurturing your inner strength and recognizing our shared humanity, you build resilience and contribute positively to the world around you. Have you pondered the fleeting nature of life and how it shapes our priorities? Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Consider how quickly all things are dissolved and resolved." Do you find yourself clinging to material possessions or status, only to realize they offer no lasting fulfillment? The Stoics teach us to focus on what truly matters: virtue, wisdom, and the quality of our character. Have you thought about how embracing impermanence can free you from unnecessary attachments? By accepting that all things change, we can appreciate the present moment more fully. Isn't it comforting to know that by cultivating inner virtues, we invest in something enduring? Consider how much energy we spend worrying about things beyond our control. The Stoics remind us that such concerns are futile. Marcus advised, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Are you living authentically, guided by your own values, or are you hindered by fear and doubt? By embracing life's transience, we can prioritize experiences and relationships that enrich our souls. Have you tried letting go of worries about the future, focusing instead on making the most of today? How might this shift in mindset enhance your sense of fulfillment? To apply this wisdom, practice embracing impermanence in your daily life. Reflect on what you value most, and align your actions accordingly. Let go of attachments to material things that don't contribute to your well-being. When faced with change, view it as an opportunity for growth rather than a loss. Engage in mindfulness exercises to ground yourself in the present moment. By focusing on what truly matters and accepting the natural flow of life, you can find deeper satisfaction and peace. Have you ever struggled with feelings of anger or frustration toward others? The Stoics believed that these emotions harm us more than those who provoke them. Marcus Aurelius observed, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Do you realize that holding on to anger only prolongs your own suffering? By choosing not to mirror negative behaviors, we maintain our integrity and peace. Have you tried responding to hostility with calmness, noticing how it diffuses tension? Isn't it empowering to know that you can choose your response regardless of how others act? Think about how misunderstandings often arise from a lack of empathy. The Stoics teach us to seek understanding before judgment. Marcus advised, "Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. Have you considered that people may act out of fear, pain, or ignorance? By putting ourselves in their shoes, we can respond more compassionately. Have you noticed how this approach can transform conflicts into opportunities for connection? How might embracing empathy improve your relationships? To integrate this Stoic practice, make a conscious effort to pause before reacting to negative situations. Reflect on the possible reasons behind someone's actions. Cultivate empathy by listening actively and acknowledging their perspective. Practice forgiveness, recognizing that everyone is on their own journey with their own challenges. Focus on maintaining your own virtues, regardless of external provocations. By responding with understanding and patience, you not only preserve your inner peace but also set a positive example for others. Have you contemplated the concept of living in accordance with nature? The Stoics held that aligning with the natural order leads to harmony. Marcus wrote, "Adapt yourself to the life you have been given, and truly love the people with whom destiny has surrounded you." Do you resist circumstances that are beyond your control, causing yourself unnecessary stress? By accepting and embracing our reality, we can find contentment. Have you tried practicing gratitude for the people and experiences in your life, even those that challenge you? Isn't it reassuring to trust that each moment has its place in the grand tapestry of existence? Consider how often we chase after external achievements, believing they will bring happiness. The Stoics remind us that true fulfillment comes from within. Marcus observed, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Do you recognize that you have the power to cultivate joy through your perspective and choices? By focusing on inner growth and virtue, we can experience lasting satisfaction. Have you considered simplifying your life to focus on what truly brings you joy? How might this shift enhance your overall well-being? To embrace this wisdom, practice acceptance of your circumstances. When faced with challenges, remind yourself that they are part of your journey. Cultivate gratitude by regularly reflecting on the positive aspects of your life. Simplify your pursuits, focusing on activities and relationships that align with your values. Engage in self-care practices that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. By aligning with the natural flow of life and focusing on inner contentment, you can experience greater peace and fulfillment. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we find guidance for building resilience and inner peace. By cultivating our inner fortress, practicing compassion, embracing impermanence, and aligning with nature, we strengthen our ability to navigate life's challenges with grace. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control external events, we have profound power over our minds and responses. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, fostering personal growth and contributing to a more harmonious world? Book 10. The Reflective Soul. Embracing Inner Harmony Through Stoic Wisdom. Have you ever felt like you're wearing a mask, hiding your true self even from your own reflection? The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, delved deep into the concept of inner authenticity. He pondered, "Wilt thou then, my soul, never be good and simple? Do you ever wonder what it would be like to strip away all pretense and live as your most genuine self?" The Stoics teach us that by shedding layers of ego and desire, we can uncover a pure, contented soul. Isn't it intriguing to consider that true fulfillment comes not from external accolades, but from inner simplicity and harmony? Do you find yourself constantly chasing after more success, more possessions, more recognition, yet still feeling unsatisfied? The Stoics believed that contentment arises from appreciating the present and accepting what we have. Marcus Aurelius observed, "Wilt thou be satisfied with thy present condition and pleased with all that is about thee?" Have you tried embracing gratitude for your current circumstances, rather than longing for what you lack? By focusing on the here and now, we can find peace amidst life's relentless pursuit of more. How might shifting your perspective in this way transform your daily experience? Have you ever considered how your reactions to life's challenges shape your well-being? The Stoics taught that while we cannot control external events, we can control our responses. Marcus wrote, "If it is in your power, why do you do it? But if it is in another's power, whom do you blame?" Do you recognize that blaming others or circumstances only adds to your distress? By taking responsibility for our attitudes, we empower ourselves to navigate difficulties with grace. Have you practiced pausing before reacting, choosing a response that aligns with your values? Isn't it empowering to realize that peace lies within your own mind? So, how can we cultivate this Stoic wisdom in our modern lives? Begin by embracing mindfulness and self-reflection. Set aside time each day to quiet your mind, perhaps through meditation or journaling, to connect with your inner self. Practice gratitude by acknowledging the positives in your life, no matter how small they may seem. When faced with challenges, pause and consider your response. Choose actions that reflect your true character rather than impulsive reactions. Simplify your life by focusing on what truly matters to you, letting go of unnecessary desires that cloud your soul. By integrating these practices, you align yourself with Stoic principles, fostering inner harmony and authenticity. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the chaos of the world, yearning for a sense of control? The Stoics believed that understanding the nature of the universe brings tranquility. Marcus reflected, "Remember that you are a part of the whole which is governed by nature." Do you see yourself as interconnected with the world around you? By recognizing that we are all part of a greater whole, we can find peace in the natural order of things. Have you considered how accepting life's ebb and flow could alleviate your stress? Isn't it comforting to trust that there is a larger plan at work, even if we can't see it immediately? Think about how often we resist change, clinging to the familiar even when it's no longer beneficial. The Stoics taught that change is an inherent part of life and should be embraced. Marcus observed, "All things are in a state of flux, and you yourself are constantly changing." Do you find yourself fearing the unknown, or do you welcome new experiences as opportunities for growth? By adapting to change rather than resisting it, we can navigate life's transitions more smoothly. Have you tried viewing change as a chance to learn and evolve? How might this mindset help you face future uncertainties with confidence? To apply this wisdom, practice embracing change in your daily life. Start by acknowledging your feelings about change. It's okay to feel uneasy. Then, reframe your perspective to see the potential benefits of new situations. Set personal goals that encourage growth, stepping out of your comfort zone in small ways. Engage with nature, observing how effortlessly it transitions through seasons, reminding yourself that change is natural. By aligning yourself with the flow of life, you can reduce anxiety and foster resilience. Do you sometimes feel disconnected from others, as if walls separate you from genuine human connection? The Stoics emphasized the importance of recognizing our shared humanity. Marcus wrote, "As you are yourself a complement of a social system, so let every act of yours be complementary to a social life." Have you thought about how your actions contribute to the well-being of others? By fostering empathy and acting with kindness, we strengthen the bonds that unite us. Have you reached out to someone in need recently, noticing how it not only helps them but also enriches your own life? Isn't it uplifting to realize that through cooperation and compassion, we all thrive? Consider how modern society often promotes individualism over community. The Stoics remind us that we are inherently social creatures meant to support one another. Have you reflected on the impact of your words and actions on those around you? By choosing to act with integrity and consideration, we create a ripple effect of positivity. Have you experienced the joy of collaboration, where collective efforts lead to greater achievements than any one person could accomplish alone? How might embracing this Stoic principle enhance your relationships and community involvement? To integrate this teaching, engage actively with your community. Volunteer for causes that resonate with you, strengthening your connection to others. Practice active listening in conversations, showing genuine interest in people's thoughts and feelings. Collaborate on projects, valuing each person's contributions. Reflect on the commonalities you share with others rather than focusing on differences. By fostering a sense of unity and mutual support, you embody the Stoic ideal of living harmoniously within society. Have you ever been consumed by worry about the future or regret over the past, only to miss the beauty of the present moment? The Stoics encouraged living fully in the now. Marcus advised, confine yourself to the present. Do you catch yourself ruminating on what cannot be changed or controlled? By grounding ourselves in the present, we can experience life more vividly and authentically. Have you tried mindfulness practices that anchor you in the here and now? Isn't it refreshing to let go of unnecessary burdens and simply be? Think about how much mental energy is spent on things beyond our immediate influence. The Stoics teach that focusing on the present allows us to make the most of our time and capabilities. Have you considered how embracing the current moment can lead to greater appreciation and joy? By attending fully to our experiences, we deepen our understanding and enrich our lives. How might this shift in focus improve your overall well-being? To embrace this wisdom, incorporate mindfulness into your routine. Practice deep breathing exercises when you feel your mind drifting to past or future concerns. Engage fully in activities, whether it's savoring a meal, enjoying nature, or conversing with a friend. Limit distractions by setting boundaries with technology and dedicating time to unplug. Reflect on your experiences at the end of each day, acknowledging moments of presence. By living in the present, you open yourself to the richness of life unfolding before you. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we discover a path to inner harmony and authenticity. By shedding our masks and embracing simplicity, we connect with our true selves. Recognizing our place within the greater whole brings peace, while accepting change fosters resilience. Strengthening our bonds with others enriches our lives, and living in the present allows us to fully experience each moment. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, cultivating a reflective soul that navigates the world with grace and wisdom? Book 11, The Harmonious Mind, Aligning with Nature Through Stoic Wisdom. Have you ever felt out of sync with the world, as if the rhythm of life moves differently for you? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, pondered deeply on the importance of aligning oneself with nature. He wrote, "Observe what your nature requires, as it is governed by nature alone." Do you consider what your true nature is, beyond societal expectations and fleeting desires? The Stoics teach that by understanding and embracing our innate nature, we find peace and purpose. Isn't it fascinating to think that harmony comes not from external achievements but from living in accordance with our true selves? Do you sometimes struggle with events that seem beyond your control, feeling frustrated or helpless? The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external occurrences, we can control our perceptions and reactions. Marcus Aurelius observed, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Have you thought about how much power you hold over your own actions and thoughts? By focusing on what is within our control, our judgments and choices, we can navigate life's unpredictability with grace. Have you tried shifting your focus inward during turbulent times? How might this change in perspective empower you? Have you ever noticed how interconnected we all are, yet how often we act in isolation? The Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing our role within the larger community. Marcus wrote, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes." Do you see yourself as part of a greater whole, contributing to the well-being of others? By fostering cooperation and empathy, we strengthen the fabric of society. Have you considered how your actions impact those around you, and how collective effort leads to greater achievements? Isn't it inspiring to realize that by supporting one another, we all rise? So, how can we cultivate this Stoic wisdom in our modern lives? Begin by practicing mindfulness to understand your true nature. Spend time reflecting on your values and passions, distinguishing them from external pressures. When faced with uncontrollable events, focus on your reactions. Choose responses that align with your principles. Engage with your community by offering support and collaborating on common goals. Practice empathy by actively listening and seeking to understand others' perspectives. By aligning your actions with your nature and recognizing our shared humanity, you foster inner harmony and contribute positively to the world. Have you pondered the transient nature of life and how clinging to externals can lead to dissatisfaction? The Stoics taught that everything is in a state of flux, and attachment to impermanent things causes distress. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "All is ephemeral, fame and the famous as well." Do you find yourself chasing after recognition or material possessions, only to feel empty once obtained? By shifting our focus to internal virtues like wisdom and integrity, we find lasting fulfillment. Have you tried valuing personal growth over external validation? Isn't it liberating to measure success by your own standards rather than others' opinions? Consider how often we resist change, holding on to the familiar even when it's no longer beneficial. The Stoics encourage embracing change as a natural part of life. Marcus observed, "Is any man afraid of change? What can take place without change?" Do you view change as a threat or as an opportunity for growth? By accepting the impermanence of all things, we can adapt more readily to new circumstances. Have you practiced welcoming change, noticing how it opens doors to new possibilities? How might embracing this Stoic principle enhance your resilience? To apply this wisdom, practice detachment from material possessions and external accolades. Reflect on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment beyond temporary gains. When confronted with change, approach it with curiosity rather than fear. Set personal goals centered on self-improvement and virtue. Engage in activities that promote inner growth, such as meditation, reading, or pursuing a meaningful hobby. By valuing what is within and accepting life's transience, you cultivate a deeper sense of contentment and purpose. Do you sometimes feel weighed down by negative emotions like anger or envy? The Stoics believed that such passions disturb our inner peace and cloud our judgment. Marcus Aurelius advised, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." Have you considered how much energy is wasted on concerns over others' actions or opinions? By focusing on our own actions and maintaining our moral compass, we preserve our serenity. Have you tried letting go of grudges or comparisons, noticing the relief it brings? Isn't it empowering to know that your peace of mind is under your control? Think about how often we allow external events to dictate our emotional state. The Stoics teach that by mastering our inner world, we remain unaffected by external turbulence. Have you practiced observing your emotions without being swept away by them? By acknowledging feelings like anger or jealousy without acting on them, we prevent them from controlling us. Have you noticed how this self-regulation leads to clearer thinking and better decision-making? How might cultivating emotional resilience improve your relationships and overall well-being? To integrate this Stoic practice, develop self-awareness regarding your emotional responses. When strong feelings arise, pause and examine their root causes. Challenge negative thoughts by questioning their validity and considering alternative perspectives. Practice techniques like deep breathing or mindfulness meditation to center yourself. Focus on what you can control, your actions and attitudes, rather than external factors. By mastering your inner world, you enhance your ability to navigate life's challenges with equanimity. Have you ever questioned the purpose of your actions, wondering if they contribute to a greater good? The Stoics emphasized acting with intention and aligning personal goals with universal reason. Marcus wrote, "Let no act be done without a purpose, nor otherwise than according to the perfect principles of art." Do you ensure that your actions reflect your values and contribute positively to the world? By living deliberately, we imbue our lives with meaning. Have you considered how purposeful action enhances your sense of fulfillment? Isn't it satisfying to know that your efforts have a meaningful impact? Consider how easy it is to drift through life on autopilot, performing tasks without reflection. The Stoics encourage us to be mindful of our choices and their consequences. Have you practiced setting clear intentions for your actions, aligning them with your principles? By doing so, we create a cohesive narrative for our lives, one that reflects who we truly are. How might living with purpose influence your daily decisions and long-term goals? To embrace this wisdom, start by identifying your core values and beliefs. Reflect on how your current actions align with these principles. Set intentions for your day, focusing on purposeful actions that contribute to your goals and the well-being of others. Regularly assess your progress and make adjustments as needed. Engage in activities that have personal significance, whether through your career, hobbies, or community involvement. By acting with purpose, you create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we find guidance for living in harmony with ourselves and the world. By understanding our true nature, focusing on what we can control, and recognizing our interconnectedness, we cultivate inner peace. Accepting life's transience and mastering our emotions empowers us to navigate challenges gracefully. Acting with intention and purpose enriches our lives and those of others. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, fostering a harmonious mind that contributes to a better world? Book 12, The Eternal Flow, Embracing the Present Through Stoic Wisdom. Have you ever found yourself lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future, only to realize that the present moment is slipping away? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, delved deeply into this human tendency to overlook the now. He wrote, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Do you ever consider how living fully in the present could transform your experience of life? The Stoics teach that by anchoring ourselves in the here and now, we can find contentment and clarity amidst the chaos of existence. Isn't it intriguing to think that everything we seek is available to us right now, if we choose to embrace it? Do you often feel overwhelmed by the weight of your past, or anxious about what lies ahead? The Stoics believed that clinging to what was or fearing what might be prevents us from living authentically. Marcus Aurelius observed, "All those things at which you wish to arrive by a circuitous road, you can have now, if you do not refuse them to yourself." Have you noticed how much power you give away by dwelling outside the present moment? By accepting our past and trusting the future to unfold as it will, we free ourselves to engage fully with life as it is. Have you tried letting go of regrets and expectations, allowing yourself to be immersed in the present? How might this shift in focus enrich your daily experiences? Have you ever considered what truly belongs to you in this world? The Stoics taught that while external possessions and circumstances are beyond our control, our inner selves are entirely our own. Marcus wrote, "The things are three of which you are composed: a little body, a little breath, and intelligence. Of these, the first two are yours insofar as it is your duty to take care of them, but the third alone is truly yours." Do you recognize the profound freedom that comes from focusing on your own mind and character? By nurturing our intellect and virtue, we cultivate a sanctuary within that remains untouched by external turmoil. Isn't it empowering to know that, regardless of circumstances, you possess an inner citadel of strength and wisdom? So how can we apply this Stoic wisdom to our modern lives? Begin by practicing mindfulness to ground yourself in the present moment. When you find your thoughts drifting to past mistakes or future worries, gently bring your attention back to the here and now. Engage in activities that foster presence, such as meditation, deep breathing, or simply observing your surroundings with all your senses. Reflect on what truly belongs to you, your thoughts, values, and actions, and invest energy in cultivating these areas. Limit distractions by setting boundaries with technology and dedicating time to unplug. By embracing the present and focusing on your inner world, you align yourself with Stoic principles and enhance your overall well-being. Have you pondered the nature of your existence within the vastness of the universe? The Stoics emphasize the importance of recognizing our place in the grand scheme of things. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Consider that before long you will be nobody and nowhere, nor will any of the things you now see exist." Do you find comfort or discomfort in the impermanence of life? By acknowledging the transient nature of all things, we can appreciate the present more deeply and let go of attachments that no longer serve us. Have you thought about how this perspective might alleviate stress over trivial matters? Isn't it freeing to realize that many of our concerns are insignificant in the broader context of time and space? Think about how much energy we expend on pursuits that offer no lasting fulfillment. The Stoics teach that true contentment comes from living in harmony with nature and reason. Marcus observed, "Everything is opinion, and opinion is in your power." Do you see how your perceptions shape your reality? By choosing to interpret events through the lens of wisdom and acceptance, we transform our experience of life. Have you tried reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, noticing how it changes your response? How might embracing this Stoic mindset help you navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease? To integrate this wisdom, practice examining your perceptions and challenging unhelpful thoughts. When you encounter difficulties, pause and consider how a Stoic might view the situation. Ask yourself what is within your control and focus your efforts there. Cultivate gratitude for the present moment and the lessons each experience offers. Engage in self-reflection to understand your motivations and align your actions with your values. By adopting a Stoic approach to your perceptions, you enhance your resilience and find greater peace amidst life's fluctuations. Do you sometimes feel disconnected from others, as if everyone is caught up in their own world? The Stoics believed in the interconnectedness of all rational beings. Marcus wrote, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower." Have you considered how embracing our shared humanity might foster deeper connections and compassion? By recognizing that we all face similar struggles and desires, we can cultivate empathy and cooperation. Have you reached out to others with kindness, observing how it not only benefits them, but also enriches your own life? Isn't it inspiring to think that small acts of goodwill can ripple outward, contributing to a more harmonious world? Consider how modern society often emphasizes competition over collaboration. The Stoics remind us that acting in the interest of the common good leads to a more fulfilling existence. Have you reflected on ways you can contribute positively to your community, no matter how small? By prioritizing collective well-being over personal gain, we align ourselves with Stoic ideals of justice and virtue. How might this shift in focus improve your relationships and sense of purpose? To embrace this wisdom, engage actively in your community through volunteering or supporting causes you believe in. Practice acts of kindness in your daily interactions, whether by offering a listening ear or lending a helping hand. Foster open communication and understanding by approaching others without judgment. Reflect on the impact of your actions on those around you, and strive to promote unity and cooperation. By living in accordance with the Stoic principle of interconnectedness, you contribute to a more compassionate and cohesive society. Have you ever questioned what it means to live a fulfilled life? The Stoics taught that fulfillment comes from living in accordance with nature and virtue. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Do you strive to align your actions with your deepest values even when it's challenging? By committing to integrity and authenticity, we cultivate inner peace and self-respect. Have you noticed how staying true to yourself enhances your sense of fulfillment? Isn't it reassuring to know that regardless of external outcomes, you can find contentment in acting virtuously? Think about how often we compromise our principles for temporary gains or approval. The Stoics encourage steadfastness in our commitment to virtue. Have you considered how adhering to your values might influence those around you, inspiring them to do the same? By embodying the qualities we admire, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we not only improve ourselves but also contribute positively to the world. How might embracing this Stoic approach impact your decisions and interactions? To integrate this teaching, clarify your core values and reflect on how they guide your actions. When faced with difficult choices, pause to consider what aligns with your principles. Practice honesty and integrity in all your dealings, even when it's inconvenient. Seek opportunities to demonstrate courage and kindness. Engage in regular self-reflection to assess your growth and areas for improvement. By living virtuously, you create a foundation for lasting fulfillment and set a positive example for others. In embracing the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, we discover a path to a more present, peaceful, and purposeful life. By anchoring ourselves in the moment, nurturing our inner selves, and recognizing our interconnectedness, we cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment. Accepting the impermanence of all things frees us from unnecessary burdens, while living virtuously brings inner harmony. Shall we not then commit to integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, fostering personal growth and contributing to a more compassionate world?